So today I'm going to give you 3 thoughts on 1 Samuel 23, verses 1 through 5. 1 Samuel 23, 1 through 5. Now they told David, "Behold, the Philistines are fighting against Keilah and are robbing the threshing floors." Therefore David inquired of the Lord, "Shall I go and attack these Philistines?" And the Lord said to David, "Go and attack the Philistines and save Keilah." But David's men said to him, "Behold, we are afraid here in Judah. How much more then if we go to Keilah against the armies of the Philistines?" Then David inquired of the Lord again, and the Lord answered him, "Arise, go down to Keilah, for I will give the Philistines into your hand." And David and his men went to Keilah and fought with the Philistines and brought away their livestock and struck them with a great blow. So David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. We often have this question of who is my neighbor, or who am I responsible for? When Jesus was asked that question, who his neighbor is, after he said, "Love your neighbor as yourself," he gave the parable of the Good Samaritan. And the parable of the Good Samaritan essentially said that your neighbor is anyone within your sphere of influence. Now, while David is on the run from Saul, he has some people within his sphere of influence that he's able to help. So I'm going to give you 3 thoughts on how we can take responsibility for the people around us. Thought number 1, assess the situation. While David is on the run from Saul, it comes to his attention that the Philistines are attacking some of their countrymen. So he has to ask himself about this situation. What is his responsibility in this scenario? Does he have the responsibility to help them, or should they be helping themselves? Well, as we read from the text, he took on the responsibility to help them. So thought number 1, assess the situation and ask yourself this question: should I take responsibility in this scenario? Thought number 2, inquire of the Lord. Inquire of the Lord. David had this opportunity to help these people, but at the same time, he had a responsibility to protect himself and the men around him. So what did he do? After assessing the situation, here's what he could do. He could go and attack, or he could stay and hide. He inquired of the Lord and asked the Lord what he ought to do. He asked the Lord, "Should I go and attack? Will you protect me in that? Or should I continue to hide and protect myself and my people?" The Lord told him, "Go and help your fellow countrymen. Go and help those people who are being attacked by the Philistines." He inquired of the Lord, and then when the people were afraid, when his soldiers were terrified and said, "Yeah, we don't really need to be going into this fight with the Philistines just yet," he inquired of the Lord again, and the Lord said again, "Go, help your countrymen." Thought number 3, trust in the Lord. David's men, and David himself, I think, were afraid to go and help. After all, they're already on the run, but their fellow countrymen are getting attacked. So they have to weigh these 2 things. While I'm running, do I need to launch an offensive? But the Lord told him twice he told him to go and help his fellow countrymen. David and his men trusted in the Lord. David trusted in the Lord, and because he trusted in the Lord saw him through the situation. Now, as we find ourselves in a scenario where we're focused very much right now on protecting ourselves, we also need to ask ourselves, to what degree are we able to take responsibility for our neighbor or the person next to us? Because taking responsibility for somebody else is one of the great things that Christians are called to do. We're called to care for one another, not just ourselves, because we recognize all of creation as our brother. So let me encourage you, take responsibility for your neighbor, help them out, even if it's detrimental to yourself. These 3 thoughts came from the daily reading of 1 Samuel 21 through 25. If you'd like to read through the Bible along with me, join the Facebook group Through the Bible.